Yeah. So it looks like
All
they're
right.
starting. So, Mega Man 5. They start off with the Starman, who is one of the hardest starting stages in a classic Mega game. There's a lot of kind of little things going on. Kind of really, like, you can literally learn this game and spend like 6 months learning the stage and still not be happy with your results. It's such a difficult stage. So, kind of like the basic overviews of Mega Man 5, there are a couple of quirks in it compared to the other Mega Mans. It does have the Charge Buster. Charge Buster is really powerful in this game. It one-shots a lot of the enemies in the game, so you're going to be seeing copious amounts of Buster throughout the game. Also, another important thing with shots is there are invulnerability periods in this game that are quite long compared to like the other Mega Mans. So you won't really see much mashing in this game compared to maybe like a Mega Man 2 or Mega Man 3 because it simply does nothing. So you kind of have to time your shots appropriately. You'll see them kind of like intentionally slowing down their shots, and that's for that reason alone. So yeah. Again, it's really tough opening stage in Starman, but Ohon has done quite a nice job. There's just so many little ways to improve the stage. And coming up is Starman. So the interesting thing about Starman is he does have a shield that he fires. However, you can actually shoot your Buster through the shield, like you're seeing right now. It's not a particularly hard timing in order to get there, but it's a little semi-precise. So you just kind of basically charge your shots while also kind of reacting to what his star patterns are. So he could jump and then fire it, or he can jump and then come down and fire it. So it just kind of depends. Let's see if we got the gravity skip here. He did. Okay, so that little thing right there. So you saw Mega Man go up and down at a normal speed. So what would happen is if he didn't do the grav skip correctly, Mega Man would go up and down like very slowly because there's like gravity. There's low gravity. So he actually did a specific jump at like the last possible second before the fanfare plays, and that allows him to kind of go down at normal speed rather than slow speed. So the reason why he does Starman first is Starman not only has Star Crash as his weapon, he also gives you the Super Arrow. And the Super Arrow is incredibly powerful in this game. It allows you to traverse through areas you normally wouldn't be able to. So you're gonna see like right there, he's like firing his arrow, and he was actually gonna ride that and kind of like go through like enemies that he would normally have to kill. So it's just a really powerful weapon in general, and it's used in pretty much every stage from here on in. So that is why we do Starman first. Unlike other Mega Mans where there's kind of maybe a debate as to what you should do first, there is absolutely no debate in Mega Man 5. You do Starman first. So kind of the interesting thing about Gravity Man's stage is kind of like the little anti-gravity things you see there that kind of switch your direction of where you're going. Kind of a neat thing. I know a lot of people in a casual sense really like this stage. And it's kind of interesting from like the speedrun perspective because, when you are like upside down like he is right now, your controls are kind of reversed. So you kind of have to do things a little bit differently. So it's kind of interesting when you're actually learning this game. So coming up to the boss. So the boss is a purely scripted pattern. He does the same thing every single time. So since you know exactly what he's going to do, you just do everything in response to that. Like you see, like he is going to jump up right now. Perfect. So yeah, like that kind of like is purely because you know what he's going to do. So probably the easiest boss in the game. Can't think of anything harder. Oh, actually, the next one will probably be easier. But in any case. One thing to note about the Super Arrow, which you're going to see coming up, is if you are on the Super Arrow and then you're walking off of it, generally the speed of the Super Arrow will be so fast that when Mega Man tries to walk off of it, he won't be able to. The game will kind of like push him off of it and then push him back on it because of the fast speed. This is actually really beneficial because Super Arrow doesn't drain energy unless Mega Man is actually on it. Which is really important because like he's going to do it here. He's going to keep walking on and off the arrow, and that's going to allow him to save like that one energy pixel. And that's great because you only need one energy to fire the arrow. While firing the arrow costs 2 energy, you only need 1 in order to fire it. So right here, he has 1, and he's going to jump right up to the energy rather than having to do the slow way of getting it. So Super Arrow energy is very important. The management of it is very important throughout the run. In many cases, you're going to have 1 energy left in order to do what you need to do. So pretty important throughout the run. Yeah, also coming up, you are going to see that he did get in the first 2 stages, he got some letters. So there are 8 letters scattered throughout the 8 Robot Masters, and once you get that, it spells Rockman 5, of course, in the Japanese version, Mega Man 5 in English. Once you get that, you get Beat, and Beat's a cute little bird, does some really neat things, mostly towards the end of the game, so kind of get into that later. With a boring part of the stage, nothing really going on here, just a little auto-scroller. There's just a lot of precise movement going on. Gyro Man stage is probably not the easiest, definitely one of the easiest stages in the 8 Robot Masters. So it's kind of a matter of just like optimizing your movement rather than having to worry about death so much. So yeah, this is Gyro Man. He's weak to gravity. You just use your gravity and Gyro dies. Oh, unless you do that. So
Too quickly.
Unfortunately, remember that invulnerability period I was talking about? Yes, that exists in bosses as well. It's pretty significant. I want to say, I mean, it's quite significant. So if you time your gravity shots a little bit too fast, like Ohon did, unfortunately, he, doesn't get damaged. So,
at the end of the run, if that's going to be the worst mistake that you have to worry about, that's a pretty good run.
Yeah, definitely.
Just one you don't. Yeah, you're not proud of it, but
it's one of those things where it's really embarrassing because it's like, oh, really, I messed that up. I always hate when I mess that up. But so coming up is Crystal Man. Crystal Man is pretty challenging stage of the 8 robots. There's a lot of little things going on. There's also some major things, like superpower energy is really important, and if you were to mess up one of the arrows and unfortunately die, that would lose quite a bit of time, because like this section right here that we're traversing through with the arrow, doing that normally is very slow and really annoying because the crystals are a little bit random, not completely, but a little bit, so. But he's able to get it no problem. He does a little rush shit jump there. It's kind of neat. So yeah, he's gotten through the hard parts. As long as you get to the checkpoint, then the rest of the stage is not too bad. And then he is going to, I assume, pick up the E-Tank here for safety, because he's probably going to do a really cool thing later on, which I'll talk about, and that is very important. This is the first classic Mega Man that features the M-Tank that he just got. M-Tank, of course, for those not familiar, refills all of your weapon energy and your actual health. So it's really important because we're going to be using M-Tanks later on to refill our superpower energy mainly in the Darkman and the Wily stages. So let's see if he kills the Stomper. Oh, good job. I'm glad he's actually good at doing that. So Crystal Man is kind of an interesting boss in that he first throws out some bullets. So you see he took the first shot intentionally, and then he went into the other two. That was intentional because he's trying to reduce lag there. If you have all 4 of those crystal bullets on the screen, it causes a ton of lag. And then after that, it's just a matter of timing your shots and reacting to what he does, because Crystal Man can jump up and then fire a bullet at you, or it can just jump up and down. It's totally random in what he does, so. Now we're kind of getting into the brunt of things. We're going to Napalm Man. Napalm Man is not a terribly difficult stage, but the big worry here is any death in the stage is pretty bad. So rather than kind of risk going super fast and doing what you do here, it's kind of better to kind of like, just take things a little bit safe. Like coming up right here, you're going to see the little spikes, the moving spike things. I don't know what the name is, but in any case, he's going to be using Buster to kill them, and he has to time his shots appropriately. So you see right there with the little invulnerability period, just to make sure he's very careful on when he fires it, because if he fires it too fast, it's going to eat it, and then you're going to walk into it, you're dead. So it's a nice little 40-second time loss right there. So you just got to be really careful in that section. And he's kind of super arrowing his way past the screen here. So yeah, he has the perfect energy right there. 3 arrows, or 3 energy rather, to cast the 2 arrows, and then he's going to get the letter right there. So there's 2 different strats for this section. Ohon opting for the gravity strat. this is one of the few instances where you'll actually see weapon energy being used, and that's important because all these little missiles, as you can see, it just takes one gravity hit. That's pretty useful. You can use Crystal Eye here rather than the gravity. Oh, that's really unfortunate death. That is probably, that's one of the worst spots you can die in this stage. Unfortunately, he's going to have to play the next screens now very cautiously because not only he's damage boosting here twice, he's down to half health already. And, oh, well, fortunate he was able to get that weapon energy. This is going to make this section a lot more feasible.
Oh, man. Yeah, imagine if he didn't get that drop.
Yeah, because you take like 6 damage or something like that from those missiles on top of the half health. Yeah, you're in kind of dicey territory, so... Yeah, like I was saying, so there is the crystal option for this room. Unfortunately, he's not going to do it. It's a very hard to kind of do accurately. So now, Napalm Boss is very challenging. So what he's going to do is he's going to be timing his shots while staying away from Napalm Man. The reason why is if you're too close to him, he ends up firing his napalms instead of his missiles, like right there. And the napalms are in fact very laggy compared to the missiles. So you basically want to time your crystal shots so that you're firing it at every single invulnerability period while still being able to stay away from him. It's a really tricky fight to get down, really like optimized. Let's see, we're going to Stone Man next. Stone Man, I absolutely hate this stage. There's not a lot of big time loss in this stage. There's kind of a lot of little things going on in the stage that kind of just, you know, you make those little mistakes and they kind of add up and they just like make you mad. So that's my take on Stone Man. So like right there, these little jumps over the nets, they're, I believe, 2 frame windows, if I'm not mistaken. They're pretty tight. It's just a lot of little things like that throughout the stage. So like right here, it's like the same thing, making sure you jump over correctly and firing at the same time to kill that little bat. Here's the little hidden section with the letter. And just some more little optimizations throughout the stage before we get to the super arrow part. Fun fact, there is actually a route of this game that does not have you collect the letters to get beat, but it does save time actually over this route, but it's very RNG based, so not very many people run it. Okay, he killed Squeaks. That's the most important part of the run, everyone. Let's see, his weapon energy is good. So yeah, again, kind of you're seeing like the whole weapon energy management come into play. So you had 1 left there. Many times you'll have 0 left there, so. And he's going to be using Rush Jet in this section. Kind of a little tricky in this spot right here. He's going to slide onto the platform and then use Rush Jet there. So yeah, there's kind of a few different ways you can do that section. That one's a slightly risky section there, the way he did it, but still did it very well. Let's see, so there's, okay, so he's going to be doing the Napalm strat. Yeah, did it perfectly. So there are actually 2 different strats you can use in this last room. This is the faster strat. It's a lot more difficult than the easier gravity strat, but he did it very well. Oh, he's going for a cool little slide there to kind of get closer to Stone Man. So Stone Man can do one of 2 things. He can do a short hop, like right there, or he can do a long hop. So a long hop is when he goes down and like turns into like stone, and when he does that, you can't actually damage him. So you kind of want him to initially do that short hop, so that way you can continue to damage him, and he doesn't do like, you know, he does not stone in the ground. You can't do anything to him. So. So next is Charge Man. There's quite a few usages of arrow on this stage. Hopefully he'll get some good RNG and be able to show you the hardest arrow of the stage, but we'll see. A lot of interesting uses of arrow here. Like he is going to like position his arrows carefully so that way he doesn't hit that first little dropper. And then he's going to arrow off screen and then onto the next screen, like right there, like a little transition. So that's neat. And hopefully he dedicates the chicken room to somebody, maybe in Japanese. But in any case, this is the chicken room, as it's affectionately called, because, well, there's a lot of chickens. It's a really tough section here. because every chicken takes 3 crystal shots to kill. So it's basically a matter of timing your shots appropriately while still being able to kill it fast enough. While the chicken has the little eggs on screen, it causes a ton of lag, so I wasn't able to get the good drop. That's fine. Still a really good chicken room. Just got hit once. So not too much going on, but coming up next is Chargeman. Chargeman is by far the hardest robot master to kill optimally. So he's going to be using Power Stone. Power Stone is really awful. It's an awful weapon. It does not allow you to reuse it when it's on screen, and you'll see 3 stones on screen. So what Ohon is going to attempt to do is he is going to attempt to hit all 3 stones into Chargeman. Now, it won't hit him all 3 times because of the invulnerability period, but because they're off, because they run into him, it allows him to fire another stone quicker. So like you see right there, he was able to do it perfectly. So like right there, he does a little pause buffer there instead because he wasn't able to hit him with all 3 stones. This is a really hard fight to get down perfectly and kind of hit all 3 stones into charge, so that way you can use another Power Stone very quickly. So even that fight was very well done. Coming up next is Wave Man, which is the last robot master. There's not a whole lot going on, but the 2 biggest skips in this stage happen right at the beginning. So the first is the bubble skip. Normally how the bubbles work is you will have to go up through the bubbles, just wait for them to kind of go to take you to the next screen and take you to the following screen. However, what he's going to do is he's going to use the super arrow to actually go through that entire section without riding the bubbles for too long. He's going to place an arrow at the specific point on top of the screen, and if it's done correctly, what will happen is the small little bubbles will push him up to the next screen. If you are too low or too high, it just simply won't let you go up. You just like get squished between the top. So let's see if we can do it correctly. So yeah, like right there. And he's gonna wait for this middle bubble. Oh, so unfortunately he fell. A little bit of time lost there, but that's okay. There are backups. Let's see if I assume he knows how to do the backup right here. Oh, he doesn't. Okay. He might be worried about his ammo as well. So just kind of right up the bubble. So as you can see, without doing the bubble skip, it's quite slow, just riding up these small little bubbles. So now here's the boat skip. Let's see if we can do this correctly. So he's going to slide at the correct spot, right before the cutscene trigger right there, and he's going to jump. Perfect. So what happened there is he slid through a cutscene trigger. Normally what would happen is as soon as Mega Man hits that cutscene trigger, he gets on the boat and just starts, riding the boat across the screen. But if you slide through the cutscene trigger and jump to the end of the screen, the game doesn't really know what to do and just puts Mega Man on screen without the boat. The kind of risky part about that is if you jump and do not land on the end of the screen, you will soft lock the game. The game doesn't know what to do, and Mega Man just starts running and never stops running, and you can't control him anymore. So it was good. It was very important that he did it correctly. Not too much going on, just kind of waiting at the rest of this auto scroller. There is going to be the letter that you get here, and that's going to complete our 8 letters, and we're going to get beat. As we're coming up to Wave Man, one interesting thing is you did see at the beginning, like Charge Kick is kind of a neat thing in which while you're sliding, that activates Charge Kick. You can't activate it using a normal like P press like you would for any other weapon. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to like traverse a lot of things that would normally damage you. And in Wave Man's case, that is his weakness. So you're going to actually be going through Wave Man with Charge Kick in order to kill him. It's kind of an interesting fight, Wave Man, in that his waves are slightly RNG, but there are also things that you can react to. They do quite a bit of damage. Like, yeah, right there is like the most like RNG aspect of the fight. So yeah, now it's just a question of timing your kicks appropriately. All right, so 8 robots are done. Aside from the death, it was a really solid 8 robots. But coming up next, probably the harder stages in the game. On average, the Darkman and the Wily stages are a lot harder than the Robot Master stages. Starting off with Darkman 1 features I feel is one of the hardest sections in the game. Like the first screen alone, you just have so much going on. There's a lot of precise sliding, a lot of precise bustering. On top of that, you have a really precise rush jet jump that's going to come at the end of section 1. So this is a really cool section to see done right. So let's see if Ohon can do it well. Yep. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, he was kind of a little bit off with his timing there, so unfortunately he fell in the pit. But that's not too bad. It's like 12 seconds, if that. Huge time loss there. Yep, just gonna miss that there. All right, there we go. So yeah, you're just kind of like jumping through everything, making sure you don't get hit by everything. And now he's gonna switch to rush jet and do a kind of neat little jump right there. So yeah, he times his rush jet appropriately so that it falls under the tiger, so you can kind of slide under the tiger and then get to the top platform. It saves a lot more time than having to kind of climb the ladder all the way up. Now it's just a question of, you're basically using rush jet for the rest of the stage, just kind of optimizing things. Mr. Cab in chat talking about Mega Man 5 references. For those not familiar, there are a lot of 1-ups in this game. You get a lot of 1-ups. For some reason, Capcom decided to make it so that a 1-up is a really common drop. So it is very easy to see Ohon have 9 lives at the end of this, even though he died twice already. I'm sure he probably has like 5 lives or something like that. It's just absurd. So, speaking of 1-ups. So anyway, now we're coming to the boss. He is weak to wave. Kind of interesting thing about this fight is you have to time your wave shots because he basically counterattacks you. Whenever you fire anything at him, he fires a bullet at you. So if you jump up at the right time, right after you fire a wave, it allows you to kind of jump over his bullet and not get hit. So we're coming up to Dark 2 now. Definitely a very hard section in the beginning of Dark 2, in that there's a conveyor belt section where there's a lot of spikes, there's a lot of pits, a lot of enemies that can kill you. So hopefully he's able to do that correctly. Too much going on right now. Yeah, it's kind of a precise room in this section in that you have to kill the little Pukapellis appropriately. So yeah, this is the conveyor belt section. Oh, so yeah, right there. Like, he was trying to slide, he didn't, so he had to kind of like react to that appropriately. So well done to not die there. Oh, getting hit there is really bad because he's deboosting there, and now he's really low on health because those things do a ton of damage. So you just have to be really careful. This is the last room before the checkpoint, so as long as he makes it to the checkpoint, it shouldn't be too bad. He can still finish off no problem with this health, but he just has to be careful. There we go. Okay. Funny thing about those thumpers is you can actually manipulate when they jump by just simply pressing B right after you shoot your buster. Same thing with the tigers. They react to your button pressing. So now you're going to see the first instance of beat for this boss. So what beat does is he homes in on a boss or a monster and kills it. Not, of course, everything is not a one-shot, of course, but... So the key thing about beat is he does not actually go towards the boss unless Mega Man is his horizontal and vertical position are still. So you have to kind of time the way that you take damage, or you time where Mega Man is when beat comes back, so that way he can damage. That way he can travel towards the boss and damage him again. So yeah, he did that fight really well. And now coming up is Dark 3. So this is the first Dark stage where you're going to see hour usage. And you're going to see a lot of hour usage in this stage. It is a very dangerous stage in that if something goes wrong with your arrow, you can potentially lose a ton of time. Like, the stage with the most time loss is this one right here. So as long as you get through everything, then you're good. It's just a matter of getting through everything. Kind of neat, you can just jump up there, don't have to take the second little thing. So yeah, this is kind of the first tough screen with arrow. So he's going to do a arrow right here. Okay, well done. That might be too low. Okay, perfect. So now he has 7 energy, which is perfect. You can have 6 there. That's okay, but having 7 here is optimal because now you're going to kill his thumper with 2 arrows. And that's going to allow you to use 2 arrows right here and kind of skip this little snake section. So yeah, he's going to do a slide right there. He's going to jump up to this arrow, and he's going to be able to ride the arrow to the end of the screen. It's a super precise 2 arrows to get, but once you get the arrows, it's not too bad. And now he is going to M-tank in order to use arrow again to kind of finish the rest of the stage. So coming up here is a very precise arrow right to the screen. So he has a 2-pixel window in order to get this arrow correctly. Yep, so that's perfect. So now it's going to allow him to slide under this thing. I don't even know what you call it. And there you go. And this boss right here is weak to gyro. The important thing about this one is he fires little stone bullets. If you get hit by them, not those. If you get hit by these little rings, they stun you. So you want to make sure you don't get hit by them. You can actually manipulate where they spawn by jumping at the appropriate time, and then he ends up firing it upwards, not horizontally. So Ohon basically was jumping at the appropriate time to make sure that he doesn't have to deal with having to jump over them horizontally. So coming up is Dark 4. It's a very short stage. It takes like 30 seconds if that. There's not a whole lot going on. It's just a matter of kind of killing all these little blocks. And doing it optimally, of course. Yeah, there you go. It's up to the last section right here. And there you go, stage over. That was hard. Yes. So now we're up to the boss. This is Darkman. That's me. Not yet, though. That's actually Proto Man. Or is it? Wait, there's 2 Proto Man. What's going on? It's Darkman. That's me. Shoutouts to me.
Shoutouts to you.
Shoutouts to me. So Darkman is weak to beat. The tricky part about this fight is he does a lot of damage. A ton of damage. So you can damage boost your way to victory here, but you just have to make sure you're very careful and making sure beat hits him every single time. Because if he doesn't, you're in a world of hurt potentially. Dying here is not good. Not good at all. You don't want to use his non-weakness, or rather his non-beat weakness, because that's Power Stone, and Power Stone sucks. So now we're getting to the cutscene. It was Wily all along. Who knew? This is the very reason why all the English runners actually use Japanese. This cutscene saves 18 seconds in the Japanese version. Why? I don't know. Like, it's weird. Like, in the English version, the text goes so slowly, it takes forever. I could fall asleep. I don't know, whatever. But in any case, we're now moving on to the Wily stages. Wily stages, they're quite difficult. Wily 1, I feel, is the hardest stage in the game. There's just a lot of little things going on. There's a lot of big things going on, and any death, just like Dark 3, is very costly. We're talking about 40 plus seconds on each death, so you definitely don't want to die on this stage. So he's going to get a little M-Tank here. Not the last M-Tank you'll see. I did mention there will be heavy M-Tank usage. That's probably why they don't exist in Mega Man 6. Oh, missed a little thrower there. That's okay. So he's going to M-Tank refill right here, right after this. It's going to set him up for the next screen. So the next screen, he has to time his arrow very properly. He has to put it in a pretty tight window, so that way he skips the little conveyor belt section, I guess, and doesn't get hit over there. So yeah, that was perfectly done. He has 1 arrow left, which is fine. Ideally, he would have 3 energy here, but this is what's wrong with this. Yeah. So now he is going into the crusher section. Really important to not die here, of course, while still killing all these little crushers. It's really important to make sure you're firing all your bullets at the appropriate time. If even one thing goes wrong, you could potentially kill yourself here, but he was able to make it no problem. Now, the most important room in the game. Okay, that's fine. I'll accept that. He still jumped over the chicken. It wasn't ideal, but he still did it. So coming up is the Wily 1 boss. So the cool thing about the Wily 1 boss is you can zip up it. Normally there are little platforms you have to ride up in order to hit the boss, but since you are able to zip up for some reason using the crystal. So yeah, crystal is his weakness. So he's going to zip up right here, and it's going to allow him to kind of fire multiple shots. Ugh. A little bit rocky here. That's okay. Okay. That was close. That was not the ideal fight, but I managed to kill him, so it's fine.
I think he just got nervous about his health there.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing about the zipping in this is when you zip up and you get hit by him, if you get hit by the head, it does a ton of damage. Or I forgot whether it's the head or the body, but getting hit by one of them does like a ton of damage, and getting hit by the other one does like little damage. So it's kind of like a matter of timing where you get hit and when you get hit in order to kind of do that fight optimally. So now, Wily 2, you're going to see a little water stage. Funny thing about water in this game is you cannot jump out of a slide. So what that means is, like, most of the slides you see, he's kind of jumping out of them early, but here you can't do that. And that's important because that means you can't do a lot of the sliding that we do normally. You got to make sure you do your slides appropriately here, because otherwise you might just, like, fall off into a pit, like right here. Okay, so he did that perfectly. If he, like, messed up that slide and if he slid too late, he just slides into a pit, and that's no fun. So yeah, really well done. Water section. Now we're going to kind of get to the second half of this stage. Just a lot of little things going on Wily 2. Damage boost here to go over the spikes. And you're going to see him use his last M tank coming up real soon. So coming up is the boss. I kid you not, his name is Circling Q9. I don't know how they came up with that name, but there you go. He is weak to gyro. However, you cannot actually damage him unless his little platforms on the side, which you will see coming up, open up. So it's a matter of timing when he opens up his little flaps and when you can shoot gyros. So you're going to see Ohon attempt to fire a gyro at the beginning. That's because of RNG. If he opens up immediately, okay, so like right there, he opened up immediately and he was able to fire a gyro, kind of like react to that. So he kind of opens his flaps up at different intervals depending on RNG. So that was a good pattern. So now coming up is the Refights, and there was a really cool skip for the Refights found last year, mid last year. So we're going to skip 7 of the 8 Robot Masters in the Refights, and we're going to do that by using Arrow. So if Arrow wasn't broken enough, what we're going to do is after we kill Napalm Man, which is the mid-left, or rather on the right side, it's the middle capsule. So that's important because it is now going to allow us to fire an arrow at a specific pixel. There's actually, I think, 2 pixels that you can fire it at. And what will happen is when you fire the arrow at the correct position, you can then do a little kind of, I forgot the best word to explain this, but basically you press left and then you slide immediately to the right. And if you do that correctly, Mega Man will in fact be pushed through the wall, which you see right there. He was able to do that. So he's able to be pushed through the wall, and you happen to go onto the right side of the wall, which happens to be where the press is. So yeah, skipping 7 robots. All right, so yeah, right here he's, unfortunately, he's trying to use Super Arrow in order to kind of make this fight go by a lot faster. So you can actually predict what his pattern is. He can do either a 3 cycle, a 5 cycle, or a 7 cycle. Okay, let's see. He's gonna try to do the absolute impossible strat. I wasn't able to get it. So there is actually a way to hit him 3 times. 3 times in one go around. That is incredibly hard to do. Very few people actually do it. I have no idea how to do it. I probably never will know how to do it. Owen was trying to go for it. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do it, but that's fine. Just doing it for the fans. And now coming up is the last stage of the game, Wily 4. This features 2 bosses. First is the Wily Machine. So Wily Machine, if Super Arrow wasn't powerful enough, it's also a weakness. It is a weapon, and it is in fact Wily Machine's weakness. It does 4 damage, so it's kind of neat. You have to time your Super Arrows appropriately because he has a few different patterns in this fight. So depending on what he does, you just have to kind of react. It's a really hard fight to optimize correctly. All right, let's kill that little guy, and then after that is going to be the main reason why we have beat. So let's see if he can kill Machine first. So yeah, it's kind of a. So unfortunately, he's not gonna have enough power to finish the fight. So he's just gonna have to Buster him. Not Power Stone. So yeah, this is kind of like the RNG nature of the fight. So now he's going to beat. So this fight normally, Wily will go into different patterns. Caps will go to different patterns. If he goes to a top pattern, you cannot hit him. However, when you have beat, well, you can hit it, but you won't do much damage. However, when you have beat tracks him. So it's really convenient. It doesn't matter where he spawns. You can always time it so that you can hit him twice. So this is the main reason why we have beat. It kind of mitigates RNG. Otherwise, the only way you could hit him in a top pattern would be through Gyro, and that does 1 damage, while beat does 2. So it is a very difficult fight to kind of control beat, because you have to kind of react to where beat is. But yeah, he did the fight perfectly. So, and should be finishing. And there you go. That's Mega Man 5. All done by Ohon. $35, $38, I believe, something around that. Mid 35. Not nothing to shake your head over. Still a solid run, even with 2 deaths. 35-38 is not bad at all. So well done to Ohon.
Yeah, nice run.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Mega Man 5. You guys enjoyed that. It's a really fun game. I'll encourage you to give it a try if you're interested in finding a new game to speedrun. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you, Darkman, for jumping in on the commentary for 5.
Absolutely.